What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing. I just finished up watching Filip Hrgovic versus Demsey McKean, and this was a 12-rounder in the heavyweight division. And this fight was Saturday, August 12th, from the O2 Arena in London, England. And this fight was broadcasted on DAZN. And in this fight, Filip Hrgovic was able to pick up another very solid victory as he defeated Demsey McKean by stoppage in the 12th and final round. The fight ended sort of oddly, but still a very good win on paper for Hrgovic, but I had this fight really, really close leading up to the stoppage. I had it 105-104 in favor of Filip Hrgovic. This fight it wasn't really the most action-packed fight, and I kind of expected that. I thought Hrgovic was going to win by decision, and it was looking that way up until the last round, which I'll get into later. But just to break this fight down round by round, the first 4 rounds Hrgovic won easy, was just landing more, doing much, much more, and taking control of the pace. Then rounds 5 and 6 were pretty close rounds, but McKean really started to land some decent straight lefts going forward on Hrgovic, and Hrgovic wasn't doing really much back. So that's why I gave McKean rounds 5 and 6. So after the midway point, I had a 58-56 for Hrgovic. Then, these rounds were just really, really close. From anywhere from round 7 to 11, I could see it being mixed match for Hrgovic, for McKean. They were just really tough rounds to score. And let's just start with round 7. I gave it to McKean. Hrgovic was just looking a bit slower in those rounds, and McKean was just landing a bit more going forward, getting to the body a bit. Round 8 was also a very quiet round, but I gave that one to Hrgovic. Thought he was doing slightly more there. Round 9, McKean looked a bit hurt and started holding Hrgovic, got caught with a couple right hands. Then round number 10, it was very, very close. McKean was landing some decent body shots late. That round could have really went either way. I just edged it to McKean for his late work. Round 11 was really, really close as well. Very similar to round 10 where McKean sort of snuck in some decent shots later on that edged him the round, but I could definitely see giving it to Hrgovic. Very, very close rounds. Then in the 12th and final round, McKean tried jumping on Hrgovic. Then Hrgovic landed a big right hand when McKean was sort of going in for the clinch, and you could obviously tell McKean was really hurt. He was trying to hold on to Hrgovic. He was stumbling. Hrgovic was trying to break off from him in the clinch, landing big shots on him. Then he turned his back when he was in the clinch, landed on the ropes, and he was sort of face down into the ropes. Hrgovic was landing big shots. He was trying to go in for the clinch. Hrgovic ultimately broke away. McKean went into the ropes. The referee called a standing knockdown, started counting on McKean. Then McKean was just stumbling around the ring, and then he started protesting the stoppage because the referee stopped the fight after he was stumbling. But I think it's a fine stoppage. If you're stumbling like that, not able to stand, it's a perfectly fine stoppage. So, yeah, now Hrgovic improves to 16-0, 13 wins by knockout. He maintains his IBF mandatory status in getting this victory over Demsey McKean. So, yeah, this goes into the question, what is next for Filip Hrgovic? Now that he is still maintained as the IBF mandatory challenger, he could very well face the winner of Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois, considering that Dubois was the WBA mandatory, holding that regular title, and then they made that fight, and next I believe is the IBF. So I think they will make that fight possibly between Usyk or Dubois, most likely Usyk, as most of you guys know. But yeah, definitely a very solid win for Hrgovic. Even though he didn't look too great in his fight versus Zhang and against McKean, it's still on paper 2 wins over guys who were undefeated, and especially Zhang, who's now got a win over Joe Joyce, so it looks much, much better. Even though I thought Zhang won, still on paper, a good win for Hrgovic. But yeah, obviously, next for him, it could obviously be that shot at the world title against Alexander Usyk, being that he's the mandatory. But as for Demsey McKean, a lot of people were picking him to get stopped early, not to put up a decent fight, but he did put up a very decent fight. And then, I thought he was going to go all 12 rounds. I thought I was going to predict this fight perfectly, but then he had to get caught with some of those shots, had to get stopped, and really not defend himself properly. Really, he just, I don't know what he did wrong in that last round. He just fought hard, fought to the best of his ability, and got caught with a decent shot. And, I guess the smarter thing would have been to possibly take a knee as opposed to just taking all those shots in round 12 when he was trying to hold on instead of just stumbling around the ring where the referee was obviously going to stop him. But I mean, who knows? I'm not the fighter in there, and I just didn't get hit by Hrgovic, who hits very hard. So yeah, but what's next for Demsey McKean? Now 22-1, 14 KOs. I think for him, he's gonna possibly be fighting on another UK card on Matchroom. He signed to Matchroom, I believe so. So I think we could definitely see him on the undercard, picking up some decent wins before maybe getting called up to get a decent opportunity. Who knows? He might fight the winner of the co-main event, which is up next after this one, as this video comes out. He could face possibly maybe the winner of Washington and Tresor. That wouldn't be a bad fight to put on Matchroom. Even though he's coming off a loss here, I still think that Matchroom is going to be putting him in some decent fights. So overall, Filip Hrgovic maintains his IBF mandatory status as he stops Demsey McKean, taking his O, defeating him in the 12th and final round. And yeah, that's really it on MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.